Welcome back to Say No to Lashon Hara, Day 9. Today's day has been sponsored anonymously, and the entire project is done as a refuah shlema for Chana bat Simafega. The Chafetz Chaim starts to talk about the various transgressions, the averot, and the prohibitions that a person is over commits when they speak a line of Lashon Hara. Most people think that if I spoke Lashon Hara, I got one sin, Lashon Hara. But actually, on that one sin hangs many, many others. And one of the things that can help a person to stop themselves from speaking Lashon Hara is to recognize how many sins they're committing with this one sentence. The magnitude of that will help us understand how important it is for us to guard our tongues. The analogy that he gives is a brilliant one. Imagine for a minute, you walk into a house and there's a room where they're doing some construction. So they might tape a little tape sign on the door saying, do not go in here, fresh paint. What's the worst thing that could happen? You ruin your outfit. If there's sawdust from the construction, you might get your shoes dirty. Imagine there was a house that had holes in the floor and there was an elevator shaft where there was no elevator. That could be very dangerous. So there they'd be a couple of signs. But imagine for a minute, there was a factory where they're making poison. You might start seeing signs already down the road telling you, no entry, entrance forbidden, highly toxic area, hazmat suits required. And as you get closer and closer, there's more and more signs warning you not to come in, may result in death, etc., etc. The amount of signs and warnings that are given indicate how dangerous and how deadly the path you're about to embark upon is. So, says the Chafetz Chaim that since Lashon Hara is so dangerous, since it's destroyed the Beit HaMikdash, keeps us in Galut, can take away our portion in the world to come, can destroy our connection with our family, friends, and with Hashem himself, right? Hashem decided, you know what? Let me take this sin, this one sign, and I'll multiply the sign, photocopy it 17 times. There are 17 different commandments, warning signs, telling us to stay away from this terrible, terrible avera, this sin called Lashon Hara. So the Chafetz Chaim, in enumerating them, he begins with the most obvious, the classic, the direct frontal commandment not to speak Lashon Hara, and that is, Lo telech rachil be'amecha. You should not go as a peddler among the people. And the Gemara explains that what does it mean, a peddler? What is this peddler selling? You know that we are allowed to sell things from place to place. What it's talking about over here is a person who, like a peddler, who takes goods from this city and brings them to that city, takes shirts made in Mexico or in China and sells it in the United States. Like a peddler who does that, he takes something from one place and brings it to another. A peddler is someone who collects information about what people said and did, and then goes and peddles it, sells it to other people down the road. So what is the classic case, the most obvious case of rechilut? Is someone comes up to you and says, I was sitting in the synagogue today, and I heard this guy say something about you. You can't believe it. You know what he's saying about you? Do you know what that person wrote about you? You know what that person said? Do you know what that person did to you? In each one of these cases, a person actually thinks to themselves, you know what? I'm being very helpful here. I'm a good Samaritan. I'm coming to tell this person that this is what people are saying about him. And we think that people need to know, what was said about them. But actually, the Chafetz Chaim says, almost always, finding out that someone said something about me, it doesn't do anything. I can't take that or fix that situation. And now I have this really angry sense of bitterness towards this person. And now your words of rechilut have caused machloket, they've caused animosity, and we'll get into everything that happens when a person speaks Lashon Hara. But the first thing is the Torah says, stop peddling. And what the Chafetz Chaim is adding is, you're not helping anyone. You think everybody needs to know everything that was said about them. It's true. It doesn't matter if it's true. It's still rechilut. It's still Lashon Hara. And what you gain over here is lost far and away by what you've lost and the fire you've started, which is about to rage out of control.